Well, let's start at the very beginning. Tell me how badly affected Samoa was by the tsunami.
The southeast coast was probably the worst affected part of Upolu, the main island in Samoa. Progressive from the west end, it was 20, 40, 60, and then almost total destruction.
So when the waves came in, there was no real chance to save anything?
Towards the southeast coast, because the background is cliff, there was no chance. Even if we were young, fit and able, there was actually nowhere to go except up. And you had parents putting little kids into trees, and some people scrambling up it, and there was nowhere to go. When the converging waves came in and hit Lalomanu, especially on the corner, the waves came in through the village, destroyed everything, hit the bottom of the cliff, went back through the village, and so there's almost total devastation. So 70% and some 80% of villagers decided that they wouldn't live near the sea again, and so they've upped sticks, and these are new residential areas that have been developed in land which was practically virgin bush in parts.
So tell me a bit about what you've been doing there.
Habitat for Humanity decided that it needed to help in Samoa. Within a very short time, we were appointed as principal builders. And then right from to the left of Lepa, which is our main centre, and right around to the coast, we built a total of 89 whale.
Wow. So there's a whole heap of work to do. So how many people were involved?
We had roughly about 600 volunteers. There's a whole lot of people from different countries, people who are here in New Zealand on holiday, backpackers and the like, people from Australia. And we had all sorts of people that were resident in New Zealand at the time and decided that they could also help.
So what sort of difference will these homes make in their lives?
The big difference is that Habitat is all about quality. We build houses that will last. We'll never take any shortcuts on quality. So the same sort of expertise that you'd put into a multi-million-dollar home, we provide that to the least of our brothers.
You've been back to Samoa not just once, you've been back several times.
Yes.
How has it affected the people of Samoa? Because I would guess a disaster on this sort of scale really knocks your confidence.
I think one of the immediate things that we should realise is that Samoa is a very Christian country. So even days after the tragedy, a lot of people were getting on with their lives. There was little kids dragging window frames and recycling wood and tin and so forth, and there's a lot of people from the other side of the island who are also helping. One of the great things about the 600 volunteers who went there is that it restored Samoans' belief in humanity, where people would come and help, perfect strangers would come and help and build these houses. The common question to volunteers were, how much are you getting paid for this? People don't realise that the volunteers actually pay for everything themselves. They take nothing out of the community. They don't earn for 2 weeks. Some people came back several times, so there's several people who didn't earn for several months and still paid for that privilege.
It's a remarkable witness to the world, not just to Samoa.
Yes, when we use the word witness, it's quite appropriate because, you know, in a Christian sense, it's showing the love and teachings of Jesus. But witness, there's a witness by Christians and non-Christians, and to the people of Samoa that there are people who do care, and there are people who will reach out from all parts of the world, and indeed all parts of New Zealand, from Invercargill up to the far north.
I know you're also going into Fiji, which is interesting because New Zealand isn't particularly welcome there, and yet obviously Habitat is viewed differently.
Habitat, no matter where Habitat goes, and New Zealand's no different, we take a non-political stance because our only concern is to have great housing outcomes, and in Fiji's case great housing outcomes for the Fijian people. So we're there to help. There is a great affiliation there's been many Kiwis have been there on holiday or for their get married or and see the country and so forth. But because of the length of time since the cyclone and the building efforts, which will start several months after in September, we won't get the same sort of response as we did in Samoa. Plus, no one died as a result of the cyclone. So it's a very different project. It's a very difficult project geographically, and it's very difficult because normally donations come in the first 10 days, and this will be several months after that.
So what do you do if you can't get that publicity that you need?
Yes. As a result of our experience in Samoa, we accumulated a fair amount of motor vehicles, equipment, and we're able to send half of that as a rapid response kit, if you like, to anywhere in the Pacific. That's what we're hoping to establish with partners like in New Zealand and Reef Shipping and so forth. And so that's given us a head start. And there are already a number of volunteers who've volunteered from Samoa and new to Habitat. So we're ready to go there. It certainly is more difficult in the sense that the roads and access are very hard and vulnerable.
Do you ever find yourself faced with a situation that you just say, wow, that's too hard?
I think we can always just try and do our best. We've got to be realistic in what we can do and can't do. It's important to have a strong program in New Zealand so that we can have a strong program globally. We always say, if Jesus was in this room, what would he do? And what would he say to us? We've got to give it a go.
Cool, that's brilliant, thank you.